Hello, Goddess. Welcome back to Habits of a Goddess podcast, a podcast filled with self love, self care, and spiritual affirmations. My mission for whoever is listening to this podcast is that you find ways to empower yourself, attract the life that you desire, and feel supported on the self love journey. I have experienced a new way of opening up to the endless possibilities of healing and growing through sharing my voice. I'm your host, Jasmine Rasco. And today's episode, we will be talking about 10 ways to level up as a goddess in 2025. Also, if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to give Habits of a Goddess podcast a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I love reading the reviews you guys leave. It means the world to me to see how truly the podcast has made a positive impact in your life. And when you leave a review, it helps other goddesses discover the podcast too. So 2025 is literally a couple of weeks away. And I feel like this year alone has been a total transformation in my personal life, in my business, and in this amazing community, this podcast, just elevating constantly. And I'm so excited to share with you guys 10 ways that you can level up as a goddess moving into the new year. And I know that every single time you listen to this podcast, this is contributing to your glow up, and this is contributing to your self-care and your self-love. So we're going to get into number one, which is prioritizing self-love and self-care. When we talk about self-love, everything that you're doing that's nurturing yourself is pouring back into you. And it's so important to fill your cup up first before you help others. And that's where the self-love comes from. That's where the self-care comes from, because you're taking care of yourself and you're creating the energy of self-love. You're pouring into yourself on a daily basis, whether that's through this podcast or you're practicing a spiritual ritual that just helps elevate your spiritual side of you, or you're just creating peace in your own home. You're creating your self-care routine, whatever that looks like for you. So for example, when I practice self-love, I always tell myself it's okay to say no if it's no longer aligning with me. It's okay to say no if I do not want to entertain it. Like, it's okay. And you have to be okay with letting people deselect themselves for your life. When they are deselecting themselves, you are allowing yourself to pour back into you, because a lot of times we give our energy outwards. We pour into other people, we take on other people's energy, and we haven't given ourselves the self-love, the self-care that we need first. So how can you empower others when you haven't empowered yourself? You have to pour back into you first, goddess. So going into 2025, we are prioritizing ourselves. If you've been doing that, congratulations. But if you haven't, this is just a friendly reminder that it doesn't matter how much you give to other people. If you're not giving to yourself first, other people will not appreciate. They won't appreciate. You have to prioritize you and put yourself on a pedestal. Pour into yourself. So find your creative outlet, whatever that looks like for you. It could be meditation, working out, cooking yourself yummy, delicious meals that feels good to you and tastes delicious. It could be just simply turning off the news, or putting your phone on Do Not Disturb and no longer taking phone calls when you need your time to pour into yourself. So prioritize yourself. Going into 2025, we are doing that. And number two, another way to level up as a goddess in 2025 is set clear intentions and goals. This is important to your glow up. This is important to elevating and reminding yourself you have to set goals that aligns with your desires. Like, how can you fulfill your needs and how can you attract success into your life if you don't have a clear path of what that looks like for you? So, if you need a reminder of how you can fulfill your goals and, attract success into your life, take time every single day to write down what are your goals for the day. Either in your notes or get a pencil and paper, old fashioned, and write down in a journal your goals for the day. It doesn't matter how small the goal is or how big the goal is. Write it down. When you take it from your mind to paper, it's more momentum for you to achieve that goal. Like the momentum starts to work itself into your reality, and you start to realize, okay, I have these goals for myself and they're important. You're actually putting these goals on paper and you are starting to take the proper steps to align yourself with your higher self. So, old fashioned, write the goals down, make it plain, and then find ways to accomplish your goals. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Just find the ways, break them down if you need to, and take actionable steps. And don't forget to track your progress. How do you know where your success comes from if you're not tracking your progress every single day? So if you have a goal, let's say your goal for the new year is to get back in shape. You want to be in the best shape of your life. It's a new year. You're cutting out the sweets. You're cutting out the fatty food. You're like, I want to be my best self. I want to drink more water in 2025. I want to work out more. I want to just feel good about myself. Okay, write it down. Write it on a piece of paper. And then write the goals of what it looks like to achieve that goal for yourself. Does this require you to cook more at home instead of eating out? Or does this require you to make a conscious decision to consume more water and less alcohol or less sodas, less sweetie drinks? So, what does that look like for you? Write the goals down, make it clear, and you can achieve and accomplish anything in life when you track your progress, because that's when you can celebrate your success too. You can see how far you've come. Okay. Number 3 is embrace a growth mindset. I want you to challenge yourself to learn a new skill or hobby. It's time to get out of your comfort zone. It's time to get out of your hermit. It's time to leave the house. It's time to get off the couch. It is time to challenge your mind and learn a new skill. I'll give you guys an example. In 2015 or 2016, actually 2015, I created my first ever blog called Crown with a Purpose. And at the time, I used WordPress. WordPress was kind of like a beginner friendly for a blogger. And I had no clue how to code. Now, coding is a skill that requires a lot of mental work. It requires you to learn a lot of things. Technology is your best friend, and you have to actually be patient with yourself. I did not go to school for coding. I did not go to college for coding, so I had no prior skills or knowledge on how to create a website, how to start a blog. And I simply went on YouTube and I realized, okay, WordPress is what the bloggers are using. And I remember paying for my domain at the time. I think I used GoDaddy website. And I started my blog, Crown with a Purpose, which was like fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. And I created content. I would take pictures every day of my outfit and I would break it down. And I started uploading it on my blog. And I had to learn how to code. I had to learn how to put the pictures and the links to the outfits and also like the affiliate links, because that's how bloggers get paid when you purchase things. And I also had to learn how to have like ads pop up on the blog site and how to make sure that my ads were being tracked so I can get the commission for those ads. It was so much that I had to learn. All of this was new for me. So I embrace the growth mindset to learn a new skill, which was coding. I learned how to code. This skill set that I learned early on with my blog I later used it with Shopify. And you guys know I love Shopify. I talk about it on here. That's how I started my first online business, e-commerce business, Shopify. And my fitness clothing line was called J Ross Collection. And I used Shopify to start my online e-commerce business, and I sold women's clothing, fitness clothing, athleisure clothing. And it was a challenge. I had to relearn how to code and add products and descriptions to products, and how do you get customers payment. All of that was so foreign to me. And we're talking like almost 10 years ago. Like I started that business in 2016, and I started my blog business the prior year, 2015. So I learned how to do all of this. So I share this because during this whole journey, even though I had no clue how it was going to pan out, I was embracing a growth mindset. I knew in order for me to become successful and to create a business through blogging, a business through e-commerce, I had to be willing to learn a new skill, which was coding, and create a opportunity for me to grow and strengthen my own inner being. So this is a journey. When you embrace a growth mindset, you're communicating to the universe that you're ready for new opportunities. And those opportunities come to you when you are elevating, when you're growing, and you're continually investing in yourself. So years ago, when I invested in coding, invested in learning, and I would watch a lot of videos on YouTube, but I also would chat with life support, and I joined like a Shopify community that was like local at the time. I asked a lot of questions and I put myself out there to learn, and I wasn't afraid to look like I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't afraid of that because everyone starts at zero. Everyone starts at the bottom. And when you're embracing a growth mindset and you're learning a new skill and hobby, you gain wisdom, you gain experience in life. And that is priceless. That is so priceless. So going into 2025, you're going to level up. You're going to embrace a growth mindset. You're going to learn a new skill or a hobby, and it's going to help you become more radiant and attractive to your desires, goddess. So get ready to level up as a goddess as you embrace a growth mindset. Number 4 is to cultivate your spiritual practice. So deepen your connection. I want you to deepen your connection. Go deeper into your meditation or your journaling or energy work or your crystals if you meditate with crystals. Get deeper with your connection to your higher self. This requires you to create vision boards so you can manifest your dreams, your desires. This requires you to communicate and journal out, script out like what it is that you desire in life. Like this is a personal development journey. So become very in tune with your spiritual side. And that requires you to sometimes you're on the journey, you're elevating, you're growing spiritually. It feels alone, like you feel like you're alone, like no one may can relate to you. But trust me, you're in a season where it's requiring you to get to know yourself more. So when you are elevating and you're cultivating your spiritual side, you're deepening your connection to your higher self. And then once you have that, you can connect with other people who are at that level with you in life too. So don't be afraid to tap deeper into your inner goddess and shine. Like honestly, like embrace your inner goddess. Use your inner goddess to create your own reality. Use your inner goddess to manifest your dream life. Like I've been doing this for a very long time, and sometimes I have to remind myself, just because it's easier for me now to manifest in seconds, it may not be easier for someone who's new to manifestations or who's new to this podcast. So I advise you to create a spiritual practice that resonates with you, whether it's this podcast, like every morning, this is your spiritual practice. This is you deepening your connection with yourself. Or if it's journaling, like every morning you're journaling, or every morning you're looking at your vision board, like create the time that you need to deepen your connection with your spiritual side. And number 5 is to nurture your physical vessel. We are protecting our body. We are moving our body. We're moving our body to the way that feels good to us. So when you move your body, you're exercising, you're walking, you're dancing, you're doing Pilates or yoga, like your strength training. Nurture your body. You only get one body, so nurture it. Find ways to nurture yourself from the inside. So nourish yourself with foods that energize you and supports your vitality. And pay attention to the foods that you're eating. So if you notice that you feel really tired, sluggish after eating certain foods, take a mental note or write down, journal down what foods cause you to feel low energy. And then also take a mental note what foods cause you to feel like your energy is, high, like you have really good high energy. So take mental note. Also, don't be afraid to create time in the beginning of the year or right now. You don't have to wait until 2025, but create the time to go visit your primary doctor. Get the blood work done. See where you're at in your blood work. Like I done this recently and everything checked out perfect for me. Thankfully, but also sometimes there's things going on internally that we may not be aware of and we may not see the signs on the outside. So make sure that you have a really good connection to what's going on inside. So a lot of times if you're noticing you're feeling tired, like make sure you're getting the proper vitamins that your body needs. So check your blood work, go see a doctor. I always use ZocDoc to make sure I'm booking a top rated doctor, and you can do that too as well. But make sure that you are staying in tune with your body. You're moving your body, you're eating the foods that makes you feel good from the inside and out. And you're just taking assess like where you're at energetically wise with yourself. So make sure that you nurture your physical vessel, goddess. Number 6 is to set boundaries that honors your energy. We are setting boundaries. No is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. Learn to say no to situations and people that drain you. So pay attention to that friend or that coworker or significant other. Pay attention to how you feel when you're around these people. Pay attention to family, how you feel when you're around these people. And it's okay to say no. Learn to say no. Learn to set healthy boundaries. And you don't have to over communicate your boundaries. Energetically, when you are setting those boundaries, people can feel that. People can feel when you're firm on no. So don't over communicate. Just learn to say no. Create space for the relationships and experiences that uplifts you. If it feels good, pursue it. If it doesn't feel good, don't pursue it. You know what feels good to you. You know when your boundaries are being overstepped. Learn to say no and learn to move forward without explaining your divinity. As a goddess, we move in silence. As a goddess, we don't go back and forth. We're classy, we're elegant, and we are always elevating our energy. So when you're in situations that don't resonate with you, remove yourself. If people that you feel like you can't remove yourself because it may be family, maybe it's in your household, create a space in your home that you can separate yourself from anything that's outside of you that you may not have control over. And I want nothing but the best for you in 2025. So learn to set boundaries that honors you as a divine goddess. Number 7 is, and which is one of my favorite. These are all my favorite. They're all very good. But number 7 is to invest in your personal style. Experiment with outfits, accessories, makeup, skincare, because your skin is important. Invest in your personal style. Invest in things that just makes you feel like a goddess. We are wearing clothes that elevates our personality. Express yourself. Express yourself through your clothes. Express yourself. When you show up confident, when you show up looking your best, people treat you according. People treat you like a goddess. So express your personality through your appearance in a confident way and watch how the world responds to you. So when we leave the house, we leave the house looking like a goddess. We leave the house well put together. Our nails is manicure, our hair is nice and groomed, we smell good, we look good, we walk with confidence, our attitude is good. Continue investing in your personal style. Continue investing in clothes that looks good to you. I feel like sometimes certain colors really show my personality. So it would be great to invest maybe in a color analysis and shows you like different colors that resonates with your undertones. That is something that I want to do. So in 2025, that is definitely a goal of mine, is to get like a color analysis done to see which shades of pinks or which shades of blue or which shades of purple or green looks best for me. So that's a great way too, when you're investing in your personal style, is to see which colors looks best on you. And that's how you can elevate your wardrobe as well. Number 8 is surround yourself with empowering people. We are building a supportive tribe. Okay. Individuals that are like-minded, who inspire and uplifts us. That's the people that you want to be around. So let go of toxic relationships, friendships, family, coworkers, whatever. Let them go that no longer serve your journey. Remind yourself that you are a goddess, and a goddess only surrounds herself around people who are elevating herself, who's empowering her journey, who resembles her higher self. So remind yourself in 2025, you're only surrounding yourself around people who are empowering, people who look like they represent where you want to go in life. So surround yourself, goddess, with people who resonate with your deepest desires. Number 9 is learn to give back to others. I love this. When I think of giving back, I think of just taking time. It doesn't always have to be financially, but also just taking time to give back. And it could be through charity, mentorship, volunteer, anything that resonates with you, causes that you're passionate about, you can give back. Pay it forward, give back in life. I use this podcast as one of the many outlets of giving back. I know the journey that I'm on, and I know everything that I experienced in life. I would not be the person who I am today if I didn't give back on my journey, because when you're giving back, you're putting that energy out there. You're also showing others that it's possible to empower yourself. It's possible to be successful. It's possible to create your own reality and create from a place of abundance. And so when you're giving back, you are always getting blessed back that 100-fold. So I always believe that. So give back, find a charity cause. This is the perfect season to give back if you know someone in need, a family, or just being a mentor to someone. Like, give back from your heart and find things that are passionate to you. So give back, goddess. And number 10, which is my current favorite, because we're going to talk about this, and it's always been a favorite, is learn to celebrate your achievements. In 2025, we are celebrating our achievements boldly, loud. We are no longer hiding our accomplishments. So take the time to acknowledge and celebrate even the smallest wins. Even the smallest wins. Create a gratitude practice and stay grounded in your accomplishments and blessings. And speaking of celebrating your achievements, I want to take the time to celebrate Habits of a Goddess podcast. This podcast was created 4.5 years ago, and I could not have been where I'm at today if it wasn't me sharing my voice and using my voice to empower not only myself, but to the amazing women in this community. And today, Spotify released their 2024 Spotify Rap list. And if you aren't familiar with that, it's pretty much just recognition of how far you've come as a podcaster. If you have a podcast like myself, or a artist, if you're a musician, a singer, this is a perfect time to look at how much you've grown as a creator. And I'm so grateful for the journey that I'm on, because every single year that I've grown, this podcast have grown, my personal life I've elevated, and it shows in every area of my life. Everything that I've been working on energy wise, I am seeing that now. I see that through my podcast, I see that in myself, and I see that in my different relationships I have with friendships, and I see the glow up. So thank you, goddesses, for listening to this podcast, for sharing the podcast, sending me beautiful messages and telling me how the podcast have empowered you on your journey and how you've noticed a huge shift in your life. Like, I do not take that for granted. Like, I really appreciate every single message that I get that is sweet. I really appreciate it, because it also gives me feedback of like how far I've come in my own life. And Spotify released the Spotify Wrap 2024, and I see that this show has grown so much. I've gained a lot of new listeners, and that tells me that you guys are enjoying the podcast and you find it soothing, you find it healing, you find it to be enjoyment for you. And I am so grateful for each and every single one of you guys that's been tuning into this podcast for the past 4.5 years, or this may be your first episode, or maybe you've been listening to it since the beginning of the year. I thank you. I really appreciate you. I've couldn't have been this successful without you guys tuning in, and it does make a difference. Not only does it make a difference in my life, but it also makes a difference to the ones that have been seeking messages like myself, the message that I put out. And I always say this: the universe will always make room for your gifts. So if you feel like you're called to start a podcast or start a YouTube channel, or a business, this is your season. This is your time. Start that business, start that podcast, start that social media content, like create. This is your season to create. Create from a place of abundance. Create from a place of, I know everything will work out for me. So 2025, this is your year to level up as a goddess. Celebrate your accomplishments. I'm celebrating all month long and moving forward into the new year, because this would not be a success if I didn't acknowledge my growth, my journey, and acknowledge the amazing goddesses that have been tuning in to the podcast. And remember, being a goddess, it means that you're owning your unique power. Being a goddess requires you to exude confidence and lead a life that feels authentic and fulfilling to you. So step into 2025 with confidence, grace, strength, and purpose, and allow yourself to be successful. Allow yourself to be fulfilled. Allow yourself to be loved. Allow yourself to be in abundance, in the frequency of abundance, of joy, of wealth, of prosperity. Allow yourself to experience all of that good energy. Allow yourself to experience that, because you deserve it. And remember that everything that you've been working on, you will see it in your reality. It will start to appear. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So everything that you're working on, you will start to see it appear in your life. You will start to see other people have it. And that's how you know you are next. You are next. You are destined for success. And I know you are. If you've been tuning in, you're part of the collective. You're part of the 1%. Not everyone is going to be consistent in doing their own inner work, but you are consistent, and that's what matters the most. So remember to be kind and gentle with yourself. I want to leave you with an affirmation that you can repeat throughout the day. Place your hand over your heart and just take a deep breath and breathe. And repeat this affirmation after me. I am proud of how far I've come this year. I am proud of how far I've come this year. I am proud of how far I've come this year. Acknowledge how far you've come this year, Goddess. Acknowledge how far you've come here this year. You've made it. You've worked on yourself. You leveled up, and I'm proud of you. If anyone hasn't told you this today, I am proud of you. There's nothing too small or too big to be proud of. So look at your life today and find something that you can be proud of. And I want you to come over to our Instagram and comment under the most recent post of what you are proud of that you've accomplished this year. I love you. Thank you for listening to this episode. If it resonated with you today, leave us a beautiful 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Also, come over to our Instagram at Habits of a Goddess to connect with our community and comment under our most recent post of your thoughts of the episode. I love interacting with you, goddesses, and I appreciate your love and support. Don't forget to share the podcast and tag us at Habits of a Goddess. Have a beautiful day.